Welcome to the FIREchat podcast. My name's Rich Rice. I'm your host, and today I have with me Jared Rogers, who's a IREIC member and former mortgage broker or current mortgage broker, and we're going to have a little chat here. So welcome, everybody. And Jared.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's great.
Yeah.
We're missing the sun outside, but
I know it finally came out. We've been up in like the mountains in a cloud for a
right.
week. So, and it's been raining. You know, they call it tree pee.
Tree pee.
Yeah. It's like when it's not really raining, but there's so much moisture in the air with all the trees.
Okay.
Absorb the moisture, and it seems like it's raining at my house, but
Kind of like
it's
that
not
Northern
really.
California style, but we're getting it down here in the Southern California.
Exactly.
Love it.
So that was a newer term that I heard. I was like, oh, I didn't know it was called that, but that sounds gross.
I'll try to use it a few times today, so and see if I get that reation, and maybe I could explain it to people too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So tell me about yourself, man. I know you're a newer member.
Yep.
How long have you been a member now?
I'm gonna say coming up to 2 months, probably.
Nice.
Month and a half or two.
So you wasted no time getting in here. I like it.
Yeah, of course.
So
I had to do something uncomfortable to get over here and just put myself out there. So
for sure, I'm still trying to get people that have been around for years to show up, and they're like, "Oh no, I'm nervous." So you just jump right in. So that's cool. That's cool. Good for you. What's your, the podcast is like financial independence through real estate. So, and that's what the club's all about. That FIRE. So what does I guess like you are a mortgage broker? You've been a mortgage broker?
Yeah, I've been in the mortgage business for over 20 years. So, from working at the volume shops in Orange County and whatnot to running a branch for the company I'm at now for the last 11 years. So, done it all. Build big teams, consumer direct, and I loved it. It's been very good for me.
And
not
so,
right now.
So you're currently doing that still, or you?
I still have that going on. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't do the marketing and everything like we used to do, obviously, because it's just a tough market, right? So, and being that I was more consumer direct. I spent a lot of money on marketing, and that's obviously not working these days. So, but we're still doing it. We still have our relationships and our customers and our clients that come to us, and for us, it's always been about networking, right? Same as obviously the club, right? So, we do a lot of the loans coming in right now are just people that need a home for it, right? Or they can't do it. So one of my biggest, partnerships and referral bases is actually other loan officers.
Really?
So, yeah.
Why is that?
Just, because we're nationwide, first off. So a lot of people are local. They have, a lot of people are moving to Tennessee and Arizona and Mississippi. So all those clients that they have, they want to keep a relationship with. They bring the loans to us, and we can do those loans for them. And, and we want them to keep the relationship with the client, of course, too. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest ones, or just the products that we have that they might not have. So, but yeah, it keeps us busy and keeps us going. Right now, I mean, honestly, I probably put 5% of the time into that because I'm focused on the real estate side. So
Awesome. What's like to give people a better idea of like what's a day in the life like for? Are you the mortgage officer or loan officer?
Yeah,
or broker? I don't know how that all.
Yeah, whatever title you want to give me, right?
Down.
I've been many titles over 20 years in this business, but I have a branch, so I'm technically a branch manager, loan officer, whatever you want to call me. I help other branches as well get going that I've set up at the company, and I like to, always try to give, right? So I will usually get my referrals, and I'll try and give them to maybe a loan officer on my team, or have my processor take over, so I could continue focusing on building this new business, right? Or
nice.
Building that business bigger, right? So getting more referrals and clients. So trying to like really spend the time where your strengths are and not the time on my weaknesses. If that makes sense.
Sure.
So,
for sure.
I don't want to be mediocre at my weaknesses. I'd rather be great at my strengths. So
I like that.
we focus on
that. Cool.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been
mortgage
doing that? Yeah.
23 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, 23.
So 23 years, you've seen a lot of changes and whatnot. And you said you mainly focused on consumers, like homeowners just buying, not investors.
Yeah, for the most part, knowing what I know, even this last 6 months, just getting more engulfed in this business, I realize there's a lot of people I didn't help out that I probably could have if I only known more, right? So I do a lot nowadays, obviously, with the market the way it is. yeah, half of our business is investor loans, like DSCR loans, private money loans, hard money, whatever it is. But I didn't know about that for the first 2-3 quarters of my career.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, when I started the business, I was doing home equity lines of credits, second, third position loans, right? And then back in those days, 228s and those types of loans, those fix-it loans, basically Band-Aid loans. And the last 10 years, we've been focusing more on refinance. Probably like 80% was refinance. But again, we're direct consumer. We all know the market was amazing.
Yep.
Everybody could save money. It was pretty cut and dry.
So like, let's say a year and a half ago, like how many loans were you doing a month?
I think we were doing probably on average maybe about 50, give or
For
take.
the branch?
For the branch, yeah.
Okay. And then what about now?
5.
Really?
You know,
Wow. So it's
something like that. Yeah.
And of those 50, like how many were refis?
Probably like 80% of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of them were
so
refis. So we weren't focused. But again, we were direct to consumer. So the relationship was where the purchases came from usually. We didn't really market for that. But yeah, a lot of them were refis, and we would market nationwide depending on certain states and where they were performing and whatnot. So
Gotcha.
big time in Texas, obviously Tennessee, Nevada was a really good state for us as well, and obviously California. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Wow. That's a big number to just kind of reverse.
yeah.
So
It was.
and I know for all the brokers I talked to, a year and a half ago, we're like, yeah, no, we're good, and
Right.
then now, it's a little bit tougher out there.
Oh, it's a lot tougher. I mean, but it is what it is. It's not like it was shocking that this happened. It's a cycle business, right? So we've been through a few cycles, and we are prepared. Maybe the first couple I wasn't as prepared, but this one I think we kind of managed ahead of time. Yeah, like we had a big office in Corona. We closed that at the right time, or got out of our lease at the right time. We downsized what we had to at the right time on marketing and whatnot. So, yeah,
Nice. That's
we
good.
know
that
we
you-
know what we're getting into.
So like, what made you do that? You like, what was the foresight or what was the indicator for you? That was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go into some crap here.
Right,
Like
right.
what's like where was there a certain thing that made you like do that or?
I think it was just, I mean, I don't know if it's a specific thing, but just having market awareness, I guess, right? Knowing what's happening. A lot of people thought it was going to end in 2020, right? So I have people selling houses, like I'm getting out, I'm renting for a couple of years or whatever at that time, right? And we're like, no, it's still going. So
Yeah.
it's actually going to get better. But yeah, I think it was just market awareness, and I'm sure there's some luck on it as well, right? Like having the lease of our office come up at that time, and being able to, I'm like, okay, that was good timing. Knowing where to make cuts and not make cuts, because in the past I'm very optimistic, right? I'm always giving, and I will, drain a business to keep it alive and help everybody else. So this time we were a little more on the business side, able to, take action quicker, right? So knowing that we're in the cycle business, and it'll come back and it'll be great again, and then it'll be bad again, right? So whether that's in a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows? But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So like, you're not the first officer or broker, people in the mortgage industry that will say that it's very cyclical. What is like, I mean, obviously you're coming into the investor game, but like, what does the industry do when it goes into that down cycle? Like, does everyone just go like golf for like a few years or?
It's funny because a lot of people do golf. I actually have some of my referral partners are just professional golfers all of a sudden. I'm like, you're golfing 4 days a week, man.
Yeah.
Like, everybody does something different. I mean, there's a whirlwind of emotions. You think like in sales, there's a lot of people that are consistent, right? Consistency always wins. We already know that, whether it's on, trying to find properties.
You got to fill that funnel. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So there's people that are still doing more, making less, but they're future driven. They know what they do now will be affecting or helping their career maybe a year down the road, 2 years down the road, right? It's growing their business. But a lot of people get out of the business too. So just like you've seen probably a lot of lenders close over the last year, or downsize or merge, loan officers do that too. So depends on the person.
Gotcha.
They switch to different careers, debt settlement, tax, settlement, or whatever else, solar, right?
Yeah, because I would think the skills that the industry teaches you is probably, can roll over into a different industry pretty quickly.
Yeah, it can. I mean, and some people can be great at that too. It just kind of depends. Everybody, is different what they want to do. I like to stick with something. I like to continue to grow. I don't want to throw away my efforts. I've been doing that for 20 something years. I want to add to it, add more value to it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a knowledge and a service that I've acquired, and I don't want to give up on it, but I want to be able to manage it accordingly. So,
is there an industry like when things ramp up, like that I guess there's a two-part question. Like when things ramp up or when things are like ramping down, like is there an industry that everyone kind of flocks to? Like everyone just goes to like used car sales or like, like, but, and I don't mean just the brokers. I mean like the ancillary people also, the office workers and the compliance people and
the ops and all that stuff.
Yeah. Like all those people, like if there's like, oh, okay, well we're going in that cycle again. Like, then you see them all go to like a certain industry. And then on the reverse is like when you ramp back up, is there like a certain industry that you look for people in, like insurance or,
Yeah, I mean, for me, I look at people anywhere. I mean, I think somebody at the drive-through window at McDonald's could be the greatest asset that you can find. And they're just that hidden gem, right? But for people in the industry, a lot of them, like I said, they moved to that debt settlement or debt, like a debt settlement kind of business or a tax business, because they're people that can still do the same kind of sales. They're still trying to offer something to clients and whatnot. And, like right now, those are popping up. Those are getting bigger, more and more popular. So, and then a lot of them will come back, right? So we used to joke there's always, it's like a triangle effect, right? There's always like three main companies that people will like, oh, we're all going here, and then we're all going here, and then we're all going here, and it just keeps going around in a circle or triangle or whatever. So, but yeah, I think everybody kind of tries to stick with what they do and then come back when it's good. And companies and stuff like that start throwing out big bonuses again and hiring bonuses and attract people that way, right? With it. So,
yeah, gotcha. Well, for the, maybe like for when it does start to ramp up again, like, and there's people out there that maybe have an interest in being a broker or getting into the mortgage business. Where I guess, like what would be a couple, like maybe your top, like one or two tips for them, like, as what you've learned in 23 years, like,
Yeah, I mean, the biggest tip is going to be the biggest tip for probably anything in life, even, even on the investing side, right? Like for example, I've gone back and revamped how we're in the last week or so, even of how we want to hire people, right? The hiring process and the people that we're looking for, and really going over our core values and our rules we live by. And like I said, I don't want to hire based off what did you do last year, what were your stats like, and those tactical approaches, because tactics can be taught. So we really want to focus on people that have the right, the personality, right? The drive. So I would say like the biggest thing that you could do is just is just hustle, right? We'll always have our signs up, hustle mode on and this and that, right? So if you're not driven and you're willing to take 100 no's for one yes, then sales isn't for you probably, right? And I would say that for anything in the sales business, but
very true.
but it doesn't mean you're not a good fit for it. You just might not be in the right place. You might want you might think you want something because maybe your friend or somebody told you want that, but it's not really what you're good at. So, and that goes back to, like we said, can I focus on what your strengths are? Not what you necessarily think you want, but what is really going to be good for you. And I think there's great success for, a lot of people if they do like a reflection on themselves and find out what they're really good at. So yeah, to answer that question, it's just like I said, I want to talk to people. I want to find out what's in their heart, not what they say, right? Because we know, I forget the numbers, but words are only like 7% of an actual conversation, right? It's like 55% body language and tone, and then very little on the words. And I've had a lot of people tell me like, I'm a killer and I'm going to get out there and I do 2 million a month in volume.
I'm a killer. I really get out there.
Yeah. Wrong kind of killer, but I had a lot of people say that, and it's definitely tough to read past that. So
it is.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, because everyone, especially when they're in like an interview mode. I used to be a recruiter.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So,
and yeah, it's everyone plays themselves up, because it's you're trying to sell yourself
100%.
And some people, like you said, just, they, I was that way. Like I needed another sales job at one point and I just wanted out of sales,
right.
But I'd be like, yeah, I was, I'm a go-getter.
I'm the number one.
Yeah. Like I'm, and I was a top performing like salesperson, but I didn't mean I was happy.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But I had to pay the bills, so
yeah, 100%.
So right on. So let's pivot a little bit. So like obviously you've been very involved in a sector of real estate for a long time.
Right.
What's driving the jump or the transition or pivot or whatever you want to call it to more of the investor side of things? Where did that journey start?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always something I wanted to do. I would just get so busy, obviously, in something else. And, in something else that I had the confidence in doing because I've been doing it forever, right? That I didn't really have time to dig into it too much. So I about a year ago, I saw like one little meetup convention thing I went to, and it kind of sparked my interest again. And it wasn't right for me because it's one of those things where like, pay us $50,000, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that.
It's like a recurring theme on this podcast of how people, well, not just this podcast, but how people get into it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I'll pay to rapid fire something, but I'm not going to pay ridiculous amounts for something I don't truly believe in either. Right. So, but that got me thinking, and then, started doing more of the research on YouTube. And it's kind of funny, right? Like, I'm still a baby, right? In this 6, 7, 8 months, maybe. A year ago, I started looking into it. About 7 months ago, I started looking into it more. And you start, people are like, oh, so-and-so? I'm like, no, that name? They've been around for 20 years. No. But now that I'm hearing it more, I'm getting in a different circle, right? So, how you get what you put around you, basically, right?
Exactly.
So, and I love it. So, like, meeting with, going to the Pete's thing in August, I signed up for that, and all these things I want to sign up for just to kind of engulf myself in it, because it, like, literally, it's a lifestyle, right? Like working out. If you work out, if you don't make it your lifestyle, you're not going to get the results, right? So, and for me, I want to put myself in this environment and just kind of, I don't even know which direction I'm going, but I promise that I'm going in some direction.
Sure.
So
For sure. So, it sounds like you're in that, because we have different stages. I don't know if you've heard me say that before, but we have different, like, kind of like avatars for people in the club.
Right.
Dreamers, starters, builders, and enders. And, it sounds like you're probably in the middle of that dreamer and starter one, as far as just real estate, investing goes. You've been around real estate for so long that, it seems you definitely know what it is. You know how the process works and everything like that. But, you're hungry. Like it's out there. Like you can see it.
It's like, I want it.
Yeah.
Grabbing at it.
Yeah. Was there anyone in particular that like sparked that? Because I mean, you've been around real estate for a while.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's kind of like when people are like, oh, you're a loan officer, so you could help me sell my house. I'm like, no, I'm not a realtor, first off, or vice versa, right? Like, we're in the same business. I'm not an investor, or wasn't. I am working that way now, but it's a completely different world, right? Like me, I'm used to finance guidelines. Doesn't make sense. Is there benefits and stuff like that on a different level, though, than maybe a creative way, right? A subject to way, or seller finance, where the rules are infinite of how you want to set it up. So, but
it seems like there's probably a lot there that, like to unlearn,
there's a lot of, it slows you down. You got to take the blinders off.
My Yoda
right?
impression.
What's that?
You must unlearn what you've
must unlearn it.
They're probably, I mean, you're 23 years, you've been like, nope, you got to close a house this way.
Yeah. Oh, the debt ratio doesn't qualify. Oh, got to do this way. Yeah. So it's like I said, take those blinders off and just know that there's, a lot of options to do. And I'm learning this as we go. Yeah. I still see something. I'm like, looks like I can't do anything. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Back up. Let's have a different conversation with the seller, perhaps. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, learning all that. But again, we just keep moving forward. We got, like some marketing and talking to people and, making mistakes and causing chaos along the way until we could figure it out. and we're only going to get better through repetition, right? So
yeah, for sure.
And I'm hoping to take the team I have, current team I have, which is a small team right now, with me, into this journey. So
Cool.
because they're like family to me. So I want to help take care of them along the way.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What right now, I mean, you said you're exploring a lot of different options and all that. What, I guess, like, what's exciting you right now? Like, so far, what you've, dove into?
Depends on what day you ask me, but I mean,
I think it's Wednesday, so let's go with Wednesday's
Wednesday.
answer.
Okay, yeah, I'm in hold mentality today. I want to buy everything as much as possible. Cash flow, 20% and buy it up if I can, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's where I want to be. Obviously, there's certain things that you got to have, not just long-term cash flow, but the short-term income. So, are we going to wholesale it? I mean, I kind of want to do a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. Like I want to get a deal first off, obviously, get the deals in, and then I could find out what we want to do. If it doesn't fit what I want to hold on to, I'm sure it fits what somebody else wants to hold on to, right?
Exactly.
I want to do a fix and flip, and not like an old home that I had that I fixed myself up, right? That wasn't, I don't consider that part of the business, but I mean, it was experience, but it wasn't actually intentional. Like I didn't go into it looking to.
Hey, a lot of people, my parents included, they got into this being accidental landlords.
Really?
So maybe you're just an accidental flipper.
Maybe you never know. In 5 years, I'll let you know. Like that was by accident. I don't know what happened, but it happened. So, but yeah, I like to have, I'm trying to get a fix and flip property going, get a few under contract that might be better fits for somebody else, work with other people. I'm big on that, just like my referrals or other loan officers. I'm they're not my enemy; they're my partners. So, yeah. And then obviously get some properties to hold as well, and also been looking at the lending side. So yeah, my problem right now is I've gone 20 different directions, and I'm okay with that, by the way.
Yeah,
because
it's
one's gonna
it's a double-edged sword. Like where people say like specialize in something or like really dial in on like one or two things that you're really good at. And I mean, I could go both ways. Either we do a ton of stuff we're all over the place a lot of times. We're flipping and wholesaling and buying rentals but I mean, it really it all makes sense. Like, up here, kind of thing. But if I tried to explain it to somebody, like why we do these things, people are like, why don't you just hold everything? Some people are like, why don't you just hold everything? And I'm like,
because I need to buy another one.
Yeah, because because the way we've set up the companies and have to pay people, and we need the, putting $80,000 into a property and then only cash flowing, even if it's $1,000 a month, that's still going to take you,
do the math, right? It's
80 months to make it just to make back what you put. It's tough to build a team, that needs big paychecks to stay motivated.
Right.
So, and I'm sure there's ways around that, but I hear you. Like it's tough to know which way to go down first. But like you said, I think you nailed it. Like if you have your buy box of stuff that you want, and when you come across that, you figure out how to hold on to it, and then you flip or sell or wholesale or whatever, everything else, so that you can build that, that nest egg up to. Or not really nest egg, but like build up that war chest,
to
be able to buy the ones you really want. So
yeah, and that might change. Like I said, tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll probably.
You might hear something tonight.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be like, I'm going into just private money lending only right now, so we're just gonna stick with that. But
I mean, that is the goal. I mean, that is which is going to give you a really big leg up for when you have when you take that route, when you start lending.
Yeah. I actually did one a couple weeks ago. It was my first one. And it was scary. I tried to make a bunch of excuses not to do it. Just because, am I going to get it back? Is this a good deal? This is not.
Yeah.
All those kind of fears.
So you're already lending? Like doing private lending?
Yeah. I mean, besides like lending, my bro down the street needs a few grand.
Yeah, of course. That's more like a gift.
And you never get that back anyways. Yeah, it's definitely a gift because good luck getting that back. But an actual one where, drew a promissory note and for a guy doing a fix and flip. And that was the first one. So we're going to see how that goes.
Cool. What were the terms like?
It was a second position fix and flip. It was, I did a cash on cash return. So it ended up being 100,000, 30,000, or 30% cash on cash return.
Okay. So so when you're not going to take payments?
6 months. No, I didn't do payments, and I gave him 6 months on it. And he already has it up for sale. So it was a fix and flip that he was almost done. I think he's just needed for the holding fees probably.
Oh. Okay.
And it was really good for him, and it was worth it. So, and I found somebody else to go in half with me on that. So we both put up 50. So would that be
somewhere around 20?
We put up 50, and it'll hopefully pay 15,000 for.
You put up 50?
I put up 50. He put up 50.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you said he put up 100.
No, 100 total. So
okay.
And I didn't want to take that risk all by myself, so I found somebody else.
So you partnered with somebody to lend together on a second, like a current second?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
To give him 100,000 for that.
So and then you just did a no payment thing. He'll just pay you out 20.
Yeah.
When it closes.
Yeah.
And then you and this other person are just going to split it, or?
Yeah, he'll pay his 30%, 30 grand basically, 15 each, and that's that. So
cool.
Yeah. And I
that's a really easy way to do it. And it sounds like you're going to get that.
Yeah,
fairly
it's
quickly.
Still scary though, right? Like when you anything you haven't done is scary the first time.
Of course.
The second time and the third time probably. And then after 20 times, you're like, yeah, whatever. I know what's happening. So I know what's going on.
Yeah, speaking of loan officers, when I bought my first house, my loan officer, she was probably, I wouldn't be surprised if she was going to stab me. Like because I'm super thorough on things when I do it for the first time.
Right.
Like I want to know every period, every I that's not like if there's a 5 cents off, like I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm just super thorough, like when it comes to that stuff. But then once I understand it and I did it the next, it's like the first loan officer, if you would have talked to them, they would have stabbed me. The second one was like, yeah, like, I barely even asked any questions. By the third one, I didn't even read the docket. I just, I just was like, all right, here we go again, so it's like you said, it's a little nerve wracking, but like, you got, was it somebody local?
LA.
So, okay.
It's somebody I've done a few loans for them. So cool. It was, that kind of relationship was already established, and we'll do more loans for them. So
cool.
So part of it was doing it for the relationship, the practice, the experience, and then keep doing more, hopefully. So
hell yeah, man. That's really cool. Good for
hopefully
you.
I'll be able
That's a great return too for something, what? Sounds like 2 or 3 months.
Hopefully less. I mean, it's already on the market, so it's a high-end home in LA, like everything in LA, I guess, right? But so we'll see how long it takes. So yeah, hopefully it's not.
The next time you get something like that and you need 50-50, let me know.
I'll be calling you up for sure. I'm going to get more.
I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind that return.
Yeah, exactly.
for a couple months.
I threw it out there and it just stuck. So like, I don't know. But we'll find out. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
If you could just, honestly, from my point of view, I was like, forget flipping, just keep doing that.
Honestly, it's funny you bring that up because like the last couple of days I was like, am I like doing what I say not to do? Like, am I focusing on my weakness and pursuing that to try to get better, or should I stick with the finance side of it too? But again, I could think about this, that, and the other, but until I do it all, I don't really know, right? Like I do everything the wrong way. I got to learn the hard lesson, right? Like don't touch the fire, and I got to touch the fire, right? So
you're the reason they put those signs up.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to do it all just so I know, for certain.
Well, I mean, how else do you know?
Yeah,
exactly. if you really like it, because I mean, maybe like I said earlier, I was really good at sales, but I just got to the point where I was burnt out.
Yeah.
And maybe you're really good at finance, but you want something different. So when I came back and started, flipping with Evan and my mom, I was supposed to do sales at at first.
Okay.
And like acquisitions and stuff. And that was lasted about 3 or 4 months. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I saw him, on the flip side, and I could tell he really liked the acquisition side more than the ops side, because he'd been in ops he was ran a printing press, printing company, so he'd been in ops for years and years and years. I saw him like just being frustrated with that. And so we just switched. We were just like, well, how about I go do the ops stuff that I always wanted to do.
I don't want to do this, and that you do.
Yeah. And we just switched, and it worked great.
That's awesome.
So, And then now we both do it, you know, because we just basically have our own like almost territories.
Yeah.
And we
got that relationship. You figured it out over time, and now rocking and rolling.
But you know, that is a massive leg up as far as, you know, you know the lending world. I'm sure you have a lot of, you know, people you've done deals with or, you know, done loans for over the years that probably are varying amounts of money. And like you said, this was somebody that you knew from before you done a loan with.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a really big, you know, leg up that you probably have that a lot of people don't, and you know the process, because on the money lending side of things, all of that's going to serve you very well. You know, the due diligence and the you know, making sure it's all legit.
Right. The underwriting,
the underwriting. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. All the underwriting of it is, yeah, that's going to be massive for you, because a lot of people that get into lending, myself included, you know, where I have it on the consumer side, but I don't, you know, I've been through the process, but I don't know what it looks like on the backside. So that's even more nerve wracking, you know, being that
it's always nerve wracking anyways. So,
you know, you know, making sure everything gets recorded properly. I mean, you probably know a lot of that stuff, you know, already. So, yeah, I mean, I think you could build a whole business off just, you know, being a kind of like a broker, but more of like, you know, in a private sense. Like if you could find private money, and then, you know, let's say you could lock up, you know, $1 million at 6% or 7%, whatever, and then you go loan that out at 10, 11%.
Just raising the capital, basically. That's something. That's another notch, another road on my list of everything I got going on and want to do, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, I'm in dreamer phase.
Yeah.
Big dreams and lots
but
of directions.
Does that excite you?
It doesn't. I mean,
making a spread, you know, between like being like a private money broker with a spread, or
easiest, best way to have a passive income, right? So, yeah, I mean, that part excites me too. You know, everything. You know, like earlier on the phone, right? I'm walking around everywhere. I can't sit still. I got to be doing something, right? So
I was going to ask you. I was like, you seem like the type of guy that's like not really kick back and just watch TV all day or something.
Yeah,
and just
it's hard for me to finish a movie, man. I'm like, okay, I'm bored. Moving on next. So,
so you got to be up doing something. So
yeah, but I like it. I do like it. But I think it's.
I like the TV, but
yeah, I like it all. But I think they're all like, at the end of the day, they're all kind of separate businesses, anyways, right? So like, you know, if you have both those things going on, you should probably run them as two separate types of businesses and not try to be the man that does everything, because I think that's hard and a lot of people try to do that. So
yeah, and the books get very complicated.
Yeah,
quickly.
Exactly.
You know, trying to do everything under one umbrella.
Just get like 6 cell phones on my hip, and I'll be like,
that would actually probably help.
Private money, flipping,
just have them color coded.
Exactly.
Like a big, you know, big label printed on the backside of them. Yeah, but of what you've seen so far, because obviously you've been doing lending for a long time. You're probably a little bored. Maybe you're not. Maybe I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but like, what is the flipping excites you the most, or
it does? I mean, it does. I like.
You want to be on Instagram and. You know,
I want to get
you want
out
to be
there.
Insta famous.
Yeah, let's go. Why not? I'm so woke right now. I still can't wait. Is that the wrong word for nowadays? But,
I don't know if that applies, but you know, it's all right.
Yeah, no. I mean, I like all that stuff. I mean, there's times like I got out of the lending business because sometimes it's that grind, like you said, in sales. It gets tiring and whatnot. But I do like the part. Yeah, I like building the business, right? I like doing stuff with my hands. I like getting out there and you know, mixing it up. Like I said, I get bored with like a movie, right? So that part of it excites me. I can get out there and find a problem, get frustrated with it, fix it, and find another problem, right?
Well, you'll have lots of problems to fix with flipping.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I will. So I like problems. Bring me more problems.
Yeah. Are you like? I know you said you fixed up was it your own house?
Yeah, our previous house that we lived in, we bought it and we did remodels throughout the time we were there or whatnot.
Okay.
But
did you do the work yourself or?
No.
Okay.
Had contractors help out with that and stuff. And And it came out really nice. So I was happy with it. It was
Cool.
kind of exciting too. I wish I just could speed up that pace like 10 times and do it more often. So,
Well, I mean, the biggest thing with, flipping your own house versus flipping, something else is when it's your own house and you're doing everything that you want, versus like if, most flippers I know, it's not what they want. You know, they don't put in the granite and the colors. It's what the market, wants, and knowing like what you're going to get your paid back on versus, I mean, it's not all of it. I think 90% of the money you put in or 80% of the money you put in, nobody ever sees. They walk in, they're like, why didn't you put in nicer countertops? Well, because you spent,
I put new outlets all over.
Exactly, like 10 grand, like fixing the foundation or whatever.
Right,
right. Yeah, but you don't notice that part because it's 5 feet under you. You know
exactly.
So it's a little frustrating, but it is fun. It is fun. Every house is a new challenge. Mm-hmm. And a new puzzle, to put back together.
Yeah, it sounds fun, but again, how it sounds and what it is, I'm pretty sure are two different things. And I'm going to touch the fire on that. So.
hey, man, go ahead. Like I think it's a great, it's a great thing. I mean, you're taking something that's, for the most part, most of these houses are completely unlivable. Mm-hmm. We have a major housing shortage all across the world, really, but it's, even more as much, or a very big housing shortage in Southern California and the U.S., but it really is the world. Like if you travel, like it just seems like to be happening everywhere.
Maybe not Chicago. But
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Everybody's trying to run away from that.
I don't know, but I mean, there's different pockets, like it's like there's, but I mean, really, if you could go flip every, dodgy house in Chicago, that would alleviate a lot of problems. So it's like, these are houses that people can't get into, it's, and it's great. I mean, we play, we're in the first time home buyer market. Like we take smaller houses that are bad shape and we turn them around and trying to do them as basic as possible. And not just to make as much money as possible, but like, because we're trying to stay in that, the true affordability, like the true affordable, housing where it's like people can qualify in FHA and get into that market. Cause if you went big on all these, you push out of HFA or HFA, I don't know where that came, FHA.
Right.
And, and you just, that, it's like that, people joke about it sometimes, the affordable housing, and it's like $700,000 just because it's not $1 million, it's affordable.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And I mean, there's a lot that goes in on why that's a bad idea, but we don't have time. So no, I think you seem like somebody that would probably enjoy flipping and do well at it.
Yeah, I think it's cool what you're doing too, because. Well, it's cool. A lot of things you're doing, by the way, but that's cool that you actually, there's a purpose behind it, is to help people. Like you're helping first-time homebuyers that probably can't afford the average house right now in, here, Southern California. Let's just call it that, right? So if you can get them into something, and it's a starter home, right? Like if that's a focus.
Yeah,
I love having stuff that there's a purpose for, right? It's
90% of the people that buy our houses probably, or the flipped ones, are first time home buyers, families just looking to get, a better situation, you know, and they're, it's a really good feeling. Like when you've spent, 6 months and rebuilding some of these things or a year, and like the new family moves in and they're just like, we love it. Thank you so much. We're awesome. Living our best life. It's like, this is everything we wanted. And, it might not be the house that like, you yourself like would consider a dream house, but it's somebody's dream.
Yeah, of course.
And
it's a start, and it helps. Like I said, it helps people. It gives people housing. So I think anything you do, you have to have a purpose to help somebody behind it. So otherwise, it doesn't mean much at the end of the day. So so that's cool.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, what is there something that's like you? Is there any specific topic or like for real estate, investing on that's really like piqued your interest lately that you want to know more about? Or
I mean, I've been, like I said, engulfed in it for the last 6-7 months. I like a lot of it, but I mean, the biggest thing I think what I'm looking for, what I'm going to focus on is just squatting up with people and partnering with people, bringing something of value to them and learning what they do and hopefully continue working together. So I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I like for me, I like the creative side. Obviously, we all like the subject twos right now if you can get them, because everybody's got those low rates that I was giving out a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, right? But I really like that part of it, but I haven't obviously mastered that yet. So
yeah, for sure. On that, I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, it's a really big. Everyone's talking about sub 2. You know, you got Pace out there. You know, with his big group and presence, and from the broker side of things, you know, because the big one, you know what I'm going to go with. You know what I'm going to say probably. The big one that people are always worried about is the bank calling the loan due.
The due on sale clause, right?
Yep, the due on sale clause. So, as a broker, like what do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, can it happen? Yes. Have I ever seen it happen? No. I mean, the only time I've seen stuff called is like, because everybody's always worried about, I bought it as a primary, but then 3 months later I found another house and I made that my rental, right? Or people that do those kind of things, whether it's intentional or not intentional. I haven't really seen anything called as long as payments are being made.
Okay.
Now I've seen
yourself or just like out there
with myself or colleagues.
Okay.
I had one of my colleagues that did have like a reverse mortgage get called because the person passed away and they had 2 reverse mortgages, one under the wife's name, one in the husband's name, right? Big no, and that got called on that kind of situation. Right. But like I said, other than that, I don't see the bank caring too much about it. Will that change? Does it happen? I'm sure it does, but I haven't heard of anything. I mean, even when you know, we've gone through this whole forbearance moments, right? And everybody's got a forbearance, and it literally says that it's a debt that you have to pay, right? Like just keep making the payment. If somebody passes away, but the payment's getting made, the bank doesn't usually, I haven't seen that happen to anybody, go after that, that son, that spouse, that whatever. So just keep making the payment. But again, that could be different. It could change. And some people could have different, experiences with it. Like if you're late on it or something, that's a problem.
Yeah, so. True. Yeah. And most of the time, I feel like especially on some of the Facebook groups, and the more popular it gets, I guess well, you already said you don't really see it happening all that much, but it's like the more people do this and the more popular it gets and the more it starts happening. And are you worried at all that like there's going to be some blowback from the
fact that it's been around for 100 years, but the last couple of years is like,
it's gaining a lot of traction and now you got all these.
Yeah, I see. I do see people ask more questions, like the bank sent them a letter and there's people trying to work around it. But I mean, again, it's a problem that has to be resolved and find another problem. So maybe contracts start saying, if you cash flow and you underwrite it, and even if you underwrite it with an average rate of whatever it might be over the next 5-10 years or whatever, right? And it still makes sense to you. Do you care? Okay, they call it. Let me go get a regular loan at 27% or whatever it is right now. Just joking.
I know, right?
But then knowing that a few years, yeah, exactly. 6, 7, whatever it is, and then knowing in 5 years it might be 4 or 5 again or something like that, right? Does that still make sense to you? Then awesome, do it. Or maybe you put a clause in there, like worst case, I give you the house back and we figure something out, right? So I think maybe it starts happening, and good entrepreneurs and people are going to figure out another way around it. So
I'm sure I'm sure people will figure it out. It was just I think it was in I forget which Facebook group it was, but somebody made the comment like, somebody got called, and they were freaking out. They're like, my loan got called. I don't know what to do. And somebody was like, the more popular this gets, we might see a little bit more of a crackdown from the banks.
Right.
But I mean, I've never, I guess one side of me is like, why would they care as long as they're making the payment? And two was like, well, why would they let a loan stand at 3% if they know that they could get redone at 6%?
Right.
So.
And absolutely worst case is due on sale. Well, then sell the house, right? Yeah. And get rid of it if you have to.
As long as you can, as long as the value's still there. So, I mean, for now, it
market's hot right now out here. I don't know. Seems like it.
It's, we just listed a mobile home up in mobile home on land up in Apple Valley. We got 7 offers in the first weekend, the first like 3 days, something like that.
Wow.
So I know if you're pricing stuff right, it's going quick. But if you're still thinking it's 2021, the end of 2021, trying to
put that 20-30% higher price tag on it.
Like my neighbor up in the mountains, he just listed his at, I think I offered him 2 because it needs like $80,000 worth of work. Like the tenant trashed it, like, and it's already got deferred maintenance and, a retaining wall that's falling apart and blah, blah, blah. And he listed it for $360. And I was just like, which is pretty much what it's worth. Like, really nice.
Yeah.
And, I mean, maybe he'll get offered 3 for it. I mean, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to get it. I was going to wait a week and then, just
see what happens.
Yeah.
It's going to go because, and you probably know more than I do about this, but it seems like people are making a lot of bad investments or want to be investors right now because they're like over paying for a lot of things. It seems like, I don't know. Do you see that?
Maybe. I feel like right now there's a lot of deals out there. There's more deals that I've seen in years. The last 2 or 3 years, it was pretty tough to find something.
Right.
Because everything was just insanely overpriced. Like it was just stupid. I mean, like my email was just full of like 30, wholesalers every single day of just like, I'm like, who's buying this stuff? Like it literally is like, 80, 85 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
Before repairs. And I'm just like, man, I don't know if they just got, deep pockets and they're just sitting on stuff, making an equity play or, I don't know. Cause I've seen that going on too. There's a bunch of houses where I live that got bought years ago and they just still sit there and they're, I'm like, just parking money. I don't,
That's exactly what it was.
And, but I think a lot of people have been, either pushed out or, they're just don't know exactly what their buy box is or, they're waiting for a drop that may or may not come,
You brought it up this weekend too, as far as a lot of people, if you're looking for the equity position, you probably don't want to play that game right now. But
according to some people.
But exactly. You ask other people and they're like, yeah, it's going to go up or market's going to crash still. I mean, again, there's so many things out there. Depends on who you talk to that day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to influence what you
exactly. There's a few people I listen, Chris Thornburg, like I mentioned on Saturday. I've seen him talk a few times. I wasn't around to listen to him. I came like right in when I first heard him. I'd already been in the business for a couple of years, but like I wasn't, what he was talking about really didn't apply to me yet. And then, but like you could tell he knew what he was talking about. And like he'd called, some other big things.
Big markets.
And, and then I didn't listen to him at the beginning of COVID. I like just held on to everything. And he was like, it's going to bounce right back. And I wish I would have just bought everything.
Right.
At least the stock market too. Like just, but and then, he's kind of, and then Bruce Norris, obviously. I used to like a couple of personalities on YouTube, but I feel like they got succumbed to the, the doom and gloom, like, YouTube bit.
The world kind of thing.
Yeah. Like this, started playing up to the YouTube algorithm a little much.
They became the news. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just news. Like, all right, yeah, exactly. And I was just like, I don't, I think so, like I said, there's just a couple of people and they're all saying similar things, the ones that I listen to anyways, is that we're just going to go sideways, for a while. It might be a decade, might be a little less. But if you're flipping, it makes it easy to run the numbers. If you know that the house is gonna, be worth $400,000 in a year, and it's not gonna be like, it's not this crazy roller coaster that's going up and down. I mean, when I say no, I mean you can somewhat guess.
Right. Educated guess.
Yeah, like it makes it a little bit easier, as far as everything goes. Because for a while there, I mean, the supplies, the market, the prices were going up but the supplies were also, and the labor and everything was just climbing. So it was like, okay, well,
wild,
where's it
wild
stop?
grind.
Like
Yeah.
it's, 2x4 was what, like $10 at one
Yeah,
point?
it feels like it,
a
right?
sheet of plywood was like 100.
Life was like Six Flags, Magic Mountain, right?
Yeah,
It's like roller coasters left and right.
Exactly. And so like, it kind of saved us in one flip, but we spent a lot more on material and everything like that, but we also got more for the house. So, I would, right now we're just trying to stay in things that are like for sure. And when I say for sure, like, things that we've done before.
Yeah.
So not
things that you've experienced and you're
not making like any crazy bets or
right.
or going into new markets. I got a lot of people like, cause we do stuff in the mountains, and then people send me stuff from like Idlewild and Wrightwood and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, those are like totally, it varies from like little community up near Arrowhead.
Right.
So those little micro pockets of like where things just change. We're only doing one right now because somebody literally threw a house at me. I was just like, I don't want it, but if you want to sell it to me for this, I'll take it. And they did. And I was like, okay.
All right. If you want me to do it, I'll do it.
So, it makes some things less exciting, but it's okay.
Yeah. That's business, right? So,
yeah. So, so let's go back a second. So the financial independence part of FIRE through real estate, what is that? Is that something? Is that a goal for you, or?
I think it's a goal, hopefully for everybody. Some different.
People like to work.
Yeah. Some people want to work just to work.
Yeah.
So work your butt off to work. Of course, that's something. Like I said, I'm always doing something. I don't know if it's a matter of financial independence or just getting to that point where you don't have to work, but you work because you want to work. Mm-hmm. I like that mindset of, the money doesn't mean much if you don't have a purpose, like I said earlier, right? Mm-hmm. So if you get successful with the business and the independence that you have there, then you can help other people, right? Exactly. You can start, work on helping the community, housing for people, or whatever it is, right? Donations and stuff like that. So I really like the fact of like getting to that point. Yes, financial independence of having a passive income, knowing my family is taken care of no matter what, and then being able to utilize whatever I don't need to help other people. And that's the end goal, right? In a broad sense.
Yeah, and it's time. It's financial freedom, but it's almost like the freedom of time. Oh, yeah. To do what the
one thing you can't get back, right? So, yeah.
So, all right, let's fast forward. What's your goal? Like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 years from now, when do you want to be able to just do whatever you want during the day?
Yesterday. Yesterday, but I over the next 7 years, I'd like to be there. I mean, I have, it's a fast-paced track, but I see people do it all the time, and I'm very grateful for everything I have so far and thankful, but like I said, we want more. We want that financial freedom, right? Yep. So I'm not there yet. But I have like certain goals, like, for example, over the next, what month are we in? 2.5 years, could I get to a point where I have 200 doors, creating a passive income, right?
200?
200, yeah.
Damn, man, how big are your expenses?
Probably pretty high.
No, just 200 doors is a lot.
That's a lot of doors, yeah. I mean, that's a whole different.
Not that it's not a good goal. I'm just,
I mean, I might get one, but or maybe more. But that's my goal. Like I said, if I could do that, even at a $200 to $300 a month cash flow,
I've seen people do it.
Yeah, I've met a few people over these last 6 months that have been there, 300, 200, 300, 400, 10, 20, whatever it is that they're doing. So, but to me, like, if I was at that level, I'd be able to have the passive income I want, even with management and a business built around it. Mm-hmm. My family would be taken care of, and I'd also be able to afford the risk of having that, because it's like when you build a company, right? More people, more problems, right? So it's like I got to figure out how to manage it. I got to help motivate. I got to help keep everybody, into a position of success, having the option to succeed. And same thing with that. So Yeah, but that's one of my goals.
Cool.
One of my
cool. So
personal
let's
goals.
fast forward 7 years from now.
Yeah.
Maybe less. What's like your ideal day? Like you're free. When you wake up,
I don't know. I haven't thought
you
about
sleep
that.
in until 7:30.
I haven't thought about that from the 7 years now. I think about that every day when I wake up. But
Yeah, it's good to like manifest a little bit. Like what's it look like? What's your day in financial freedom look like?
Yeah.
And I don't mean like it's just a Sunday, you bum it. I just mean like
a normal
like
day.
if you pictured like your perfect day of just what would it look like?
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably be doing the same thing I do now, to be honest. But like I said, without the stress, having that financial, the freedom there, right? So I don't think I would change it too much. I still want to get up, get motivated, do the walks, because me and my wife, we're big on this morning routine now, right? Do my walk, maybe jump in the pool for a cold plunge. Is that the cool thing that everybody's doing now?
Hey, if that's what you want to do,
social
man.
media. But I don't think I'd be doing anything different except maybe not stressed out, and which will take that out of my mind, and I will be able to help people more. So, have partnerships and create more partnerships, and anything I've learned over these next 7 years or the last 20 years to be able to pass that on to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think it's going to change much. I mean, it's a way of thinking is all it is that gives you that, or I think for me, like that financial freedom of just, like I said, knowing I don't have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll probably
And
still
I mean, some people are like, I'm going to garden all day.
Yeah.
Or me, I want to get a sailboat and just
sail across. Yeah. Oh yeah. That kind of stuff. I'd love to travel. I mean, obviously all that stuff will go on, but it won't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're already, you're doing things you enjoy doing. You just want to do it without the stress of everything else in the background.
Oh yeah. So super grateful for everything, family, my wife, the people I know, what I know, the energy I still have. Might not have that in 7 years, but yeah, super grateful for all that.
So you are married. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Four
kids?
4 kids.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
that's keeping me busy.
How old are they?
That's why I said I might not have much energy in 7 years.
Yeah, well, they might give you more. Who knows?
Or
you put them to work.
hopefully.
How old are they?
I got the 2 older ones. We got 21 and 17, and then we have a second round, 7 and 4.
Nice.
So
right on. So well, let's start with your wife. How's your wife on the whole real estate financial independence? Like, is she on board or?
No, she is. She's not in it as much as I am. She runs she has a business as well that she runs too.
Oh, cool.
So we are constantly busy, but,
what does she do?
She has a beauty studio out here in Norco. So eyelashes. So
nice.
If we need eyelashes, let me know. But yeah,
I mean, I have been.
But not eyebrows. We only do the eyelashes.
Oh yeah, lashes. Yeah, sorry. I don't know my anatomy. My bad.
But yeah, so I want to get them involved. I'm going to sign my son up.
Cool.
Here, I brought him last.
Are they? So the oldest ones are your son and.
Yeah. So my daughter's in school for her for veterinary school. So she's going to Cal Poly to go to that. But
cool. My cousin just finished that. Good for her.
Very cool.
Long grind, but
yeah, a doctor pretty much,
yeah,
right?
It's cool though. It's really cool.
And then my son is, the older son, super smart. Like I said, I'm going to get him in here. Before I left today, I said, call 100 realtors today and just tell them you'll give them 15% down and seller finance the rest. Anything like that, you got that. I don't know, just try certain things. I wrote a script down on a little sticky pad and said, see if he does it when I get home or not. But yeah, I'd like to get him involved. He's super smart, super smart kid. And maybe a little lost still on what he wants to do. So this is great.
Hey,
so,
he's what, 20?
Yeah, he's only 17.
17.
Yeah,
the daughter's
17 in a couple weeks. So
gotcha.
So yeah,
it's a great thing to I think everybody says it too. Like, I wish I would have done it sooner.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, and it's okay not to know what you want to do as a kid these days. So we're really big at like in our family. It's like what people are programmed to, and you can actually be whatever you want to be. So you don't have to do this because I said it or you think you have to. It's do what makes you happy and be great at it. So
yeah, and I think people are figuring that out a lot sooner than the generation before them, and definitely the generation before that. It's
you're more independent.
It's definitely like reflection on society that we actually have that like, we have that freedom, like to actually figure that out,
Right. It's awesome. If you sit back and think about it, like, oh, I don't have to, be a lawyer or if I don't want to. If I want to, I can. If I don't have to. So,
yeah. And I, a lot of times that you realize like why the older generations are maybe so pissed off all the time, is they didn't really have that choice, I mean, a lot,
they love
did,
to work,
but
that's
like,
why.
It's a whole different life, whole different country, whole different world.
Exactly. So it'll change again, right, for the next generation.
Exactly.
So we'll see how that
but
plays
it's cool that people are, and people are acknowledging it too. Like it's not it's not like a pipe dream. I mean, it's, there's a lot of people that still think it is, but like there's, it's not just you don't have to go to college and become an accountant.
Right.
Like it's okay. Like,
so what I originally started then, huh? That's what I was
an accountant
in college to be an accountant.
Really? Did you?
Went to semester and I'm like, I'll change it like 14 times and I'll leave.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. For real?
Yeah, that was the original plan. My uncle and
I've been dealing with a lot of accountants lately, so that's where my mind went.
Yeah, it didn't last very long. So
yeah, like I got into school originally for history. I always loved history.
Okay.
And the company I worked for, they were willing to pay for school, which was incredible. Mm-hmm. And I'm super grateful that they did, but they made me do something business related. So I switched over to business from history.
Very cool.
And who knows what life would have been different if I would have just said, forget it, I'll pay for it.
It's always a little thing. Like one little shift could have been a totally different, lifestyle. So
or you could be an accountant.
Exactly. I
can't picture you as an accountant.
No, I couldn't either.
Why accounting?
It was one of those coming out of school. I had family that was successful with their accounting firms and stuff like that. And I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Uncle and cousins and stuff. And they're, like I said, super successful. I'm like, that's got to be what it is. And then I did. And I'm like, not for me.
Yeah, I get
Let me try this. Let me try that. And I guess I've been like that my whole life, trying 10 different things. So
I get it. Cool. So I was going to ask you, on a more personal side of things. I mean, I saw your truck the other day, and you got the shirt on, the racing shirt. Yeah. Like, are you a big off-road person, or?
Yeah, I love going off-roading. That's our club that we were, building and working on and stuff like that. So nice. A little off-road club. I haven't done it too much this year because just, learning a new business. But yeah, we love going out to the desert. I think the last time I went out was King of Hammers this year.
We
did it. I did a bike ride a couple weeks ago on a motorcycle.
Yeah, what do you have? Just is it mostly 4x4s or dirt bikes?
Dirt bikes, razors. I mean, whatever. Golf carts. Yeah. We got some cool off-road golf carts that friends have built.
Nice.
Quads and trucks and all that good stuff. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What's your favorite one?
I mean, I'm old, so razors are always nice these days. Yeah, it's like the old man's ride, right? But
they're like Cadillacs.
We did a motorcycle ride a couple weeks ago, and it was a 125-mile ride, and we went from the high desert, like in Phelan area, all the way out to /X Barstow on dirt bikes, and that was fun. Cool. And then I was sore the next day.
Have you talked to Evan, my stepdad, about any of that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, he's a big...
But I just saw 2 days ago, maybe, that he had a picture of him on his motorcycle looking at properties.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did that in a golf cart a couple weeks ago. I found some foreclosures in the area of my house where I can go to. I'm
Perfect.
Like, hop in, let's go. We went hanging sticky notes on doors.
Yeah, we probably, at least 4 or 5, if not more, deals have come from him just out riding his bike.
That's awesome. I'm going to start doing that.
Pulled up to some, abandoned house somewhere, left a note or, whatever. But he's super into the, what do you call it? Like the long distance, like
the enduro.
The enduro. Thank you. Like the, he's done like multiple ones where, like a Barstow to Vegas, like the big loop. He's gone up to like North Dakota.
Oh wow.
Up and around. Sturgis. Like he was gone for like 3 weeks. I don't think it was Sturgis, but,
there's more in North Dakota?
Yeah, there's like a yeah, right. One other thing, I guess. Whatever he went to. But yeah, he does the big long haul, like, I mean, if he could like ride his bike down to, South America or something. Like
he would do it. That's awesome. I'll have to talk to him about that.
He's super into it. He's got like 2 bikes.
I love the long rides, although like, so that was hard one on a dirt bike. Maybe get a better seat next time. But I love those long rides.
I used to, my dad bought some dirt bikes when I was in at the end of high school, college. And we did it for a while. I was more of a street bike person. I had a street bike for a long time. I still have it, but I just don't ride it all that much. But I kept getting hurt on the dirt. So, I wrecked my street bike on the track a couple times, never on the road, and I walked away from all that, fine. I did like 3 somersaults, like 60 miles an hour on the track in Arizona.
And you're like, I'm okay.
And I was fine. I mean, now I'm not fine now. I feel it like in my knee and stuff, 10 years later,
right.
Or 15, whatever it's been. And, but yeah, on the dirt, I kept like, I tore a ligament in my hip. I like did some other stuff that it's nothing like, not even being crazy. Like just the bike sliding out from you, and catching your boot the wrong way. And so I gave that up, but I wouldn't mind, I bought the Jeep and, I've been slowly kind of kitting that out a little bit. I put some skid plates on and, a roof rack and
you're in the perfect area for a Jeep too, obviously, right?
Yeah. So. I like I bought the sporty one and, instead of the Trail Hawk. Okay. And now I'm basically turning it into a Trail Hawk.
Yeah. That's
so
how you do it.
with like an SRT, I want to supercharge it, but I'm like, I'm more of the street speed person.
We're getting older. We're like that too. I mean, we used to go up in Big Bear Arrowhead in the mountains there too. But we would take anything. It doesn't matter. Stock expedition.
Yeah, you really don't need much to go. Unless you're like rock crawling.
Yeah, not into the big old. The truck's cool, nice, but it's like more for the street, probably, right? So we take anything. I'll take an old Mustang out in the desert and
for sure
5.0 and just tear.
Well, we've been. Evan and I have been. We did it. We did it a few months ago. Nobody took us up on it. For the club, for the real estate club, we've been doing more. We've been trying to do more like just social stuff. Or you want to call it like social hour. We're launching it officially like in a couple months here. But of just outings, just general social outings that don't have like a formal agenda or a speaker or anything like that. It's just like, hey, we're just all going to meet up here. Like we know each other through real estate. We're all friends, but like we'll probably talk about real estate. Yeah. But we're going to go like do something not real estate.
I love that. Yeah.
So one of the things that's been, we tried it a few months ago, but it was like kind of a last minute thing. Nobody really joined us, but Evan and I went up to, and Caitlin we just did like an overnight camp at, I forgot exactly where it was, but it was a little past Barstow.
Okay. And just Newberry Springs area?
That sounds right. Okay. And just went, we just went 4x, and we got up there like, it was after the Christmas party.
Okay.
In December. And then we just kind of cruised up there and spent the night and then rolled around a couple different trails the next day and then took off. So we're definitely we're going to do that again. I know, you now, Stephanie and Robert, like Robert's got a Jeep. There's another guy pulled up here. I don't know who it was though. I saw the car and then I saw him take off. He had a black Trail Hawk. And I was like, hey, but I didn't get a chance to see it. But there's lots of people that I know would be interested in it with a little bit more planning. So
yeah, no, I love that. I'd definitely be interested in that. It doesn't have to be so focused on just the meeting about this because that's organically going to happen anyways.
Yeah,
right? You're around friends. You're like, oh, what are you doing these days?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but yeah, so stay tuned if you can, if you have any ideas on where it'd be easier to, because with these things that they're a little tough sometimes because it's like I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing all the logistics of getting a bunch of people together. I do that all the time anyways. So like I want to break from it also. That was kind of where the idea came from. So it's like, all right, pick a point on a map that's easy to get to. Meet us there. Bring your own food.
All we do is when we're going somewhere, we're just like, I'll tell everybody. If nobody shows up, that's fine. And if 100 people show up, that's awesome. Yeah. Right. So
perfect.
How about we'll find some spots.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let me know. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're about out of time here. Jared, if people want to do deals with you, or they have questions about mortgages, or they want to partner with you, or anything that we talked about or related to real estate, maybe build out, do work with you on finding leads or whatever. Yeah. What is the best way to get a hold of you?
Google. No. I mean, you can hit me up on Instagram. It's Jared Rogers. Facebook, Jared Rogers. If you Google Jared Rogers Mortgage, I think I pop up a few places there from all the junk I've put out there over the last 10, 20 years. But cool. Yeah, definitely hit me up anything, mortgage related, life related. Like I said, I want to partner with people. I want to, see what they need and how I can bring value and how I can help somebody else do that too. Like, we talk about those goals we talked about. Another thing would be I have like 20 different partnerships, right? Like we're all doing different things. So yeah, reach out to me any way you can. I'm on the Facebook group as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I actually make comments sometimes. So,
and Jared is a member of the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, which is the host of this podcast, the FIREchat podcast. So if you want to become a member, or you want to come to one of our events, just go to IEREIC.org. And if you want to be on the show, just go to firechat.IEREIC.org. You can jump on my calendar and we'll bring you on in and have a little chat about financial independence through real estate. And we are dropping new episodes pretty much every Monday morning. So check them out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.